Hi, and welcome to the Virgin River Cafe Rewatch podcast. Hey there, Gigi.
Hey there, how's it going?
It's going. We're in the
Oh,
summer, and it's been a little warm. The weather is
yep.
odd. It'll be cold tonight. It'll be cold tomorrow morning, but it'll be 90 degrees in the afternoon. So, welcome to California.
Ah, yes.
Who needs seasons a couple times a year? We get them every day.
Amen, sister. Amen.
So what are we drinking today?
Well, today I'm being boring because I have like a brunch to go to and stuff like that. So I didn't want to kind of fill up on too much. So I'm just having a simple espresso
Okay.
and that's it. And it's hot, of course.
Of course.
That's it because I'm going to be indulging in some serious food today. So
Aha.
I wanted a shot of espresso.
And they'll probably have coffee there too, so you're probably going to get more later.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna enjoy what I have this and then indulge later.
Nice. Yeah, I went with kind of basic too. It's just a basic caramelized coffee. I didn't do anything special. I added a little caramel when I got home because it wasn't caramely enough. It's like they forgot to put it in there or something. I don't know. I don't know what happened. They put too much ice and not enough caramel. I'm like, did you not get it?
Oh, they're very heavy on the ice in
I
some
know.
of
You
these.
have to tell them light ice
Yeah,
or no
exactly.
ice or
Ice.
like
Yeah.
5
I'm
ice
always
cubes. Ugh.
yeah, I always tell them no ice. I
Yeah, but
just avoid
sometimes you
the whole
need a
problem.
little bit.
I know, and but the problem is it depends on who's making the drink
Yeah,
because
that's true.
sometimes even when I say light ice,
Yeah,
for them light ice is one scoop instead of two.
right.
And I don't know who's making the drinks back there, and I don't want, and I hate sending
Half a
things back
cup.
because
Half a cup is enough.
because and for me that's even too much ice.
Yeah.
I'm if I say to them I need 5 ice cubes, they look at me like I've lost my flipping mind.
Yeah.
So I just avoid that whole situation. Go no ice, and and I'm already a person who
You
drinks hot.
already don't want ice and drink things hot. Yes, I
Yeah.
know.
So the milk is cold. The extra stuff is already room temperature. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not even bothered. So yes,
Well, I'll drink my ice. I just don't want the entire. I don't want.
the whole
Would
cup
you like
full of
some
it.
coffee with your ice? No, I'd like ice with my coffee, please. So,
Yes.
oh
No,
my,
I can't be bothered.
that's okay.
I've given up on them.
I mean, I make it a lot at home now, so you can control it that way. I really want to get one of those countertop ice machines. I love nugget ice. I know I'm probably weird. And they make it at like Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf has nugget ice, the little tiny pebbles. I just love nugget ice. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like it just hits different. It's just such a good vibe, and seriously, if my ice machine in my refrigerator ever breaks, I'm going to be like full on countertop nugget ice machine.
Well, that's what a lot of people I know have resorted to.
I know.
They have stopped using their freezers and they have bought ice machines. And I can't even tell you the amount of people I know who have ice machines now. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like for them, it's like the best thing since
It
sliced bread.
is. It just hits different. I can't explain it. I don't know. Because I drink a lot of cold drinks, so for me the ice matters. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens if my ice machine holds out. It'll just take a little longer. That's okay. All right. So are we ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All
That's
right.
ready to roll.
Let's
Okay.
get started.
This is season 5, episode 9, Angel's Peak.
Okay. This description says Mel and Jack explore other possibilities for their future. Brady follows Melissa and lands in an awkward position. Romance is in the air at the clinic. Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a good episode. There's a lot of great scenery, a lot of emotional conversations in this one. So we're starting out at the cabin, and we have the little dress that Mel was making for the baby. And she's up. She's going to go out, and he's still in bed. And he's like, "Hey, where are you headed?" And she's kind of like not wanting to have any conversations. She knows a difficult conversation is coming. And girlfriend is, as she likes to do, run away. So
Mm-hmm.
she's running away, literally running away from it. And she's going to duck out and she's going to go for a run. She's like, she just needs to get out and not even making a big deal of it. And he's like, but I thought we were going to talk. And she's like, yeah, you want more of an explanation and you deserve one. And he's like, babe, listen, it's not me wanting an explanation. I just want to know what's going on in your head. And she can't explain it right now. She's very, very conflicted with her feelings because if you've wanted something your whole life and then you see that the road to get it is what seems impossible, how can you want it still, knowing that it's just going to be an uphill battle all the time? So she's so conflicted with wanting a baby but just seeing how hard this is going to be that part of her is like, I want to be done, and part of her is like, God, but I really wish there was a way. And how does she usually clear her head? She runs.
Yep.
So she just needs to get out in the fresh air. Thank God she lives where she lives because, man, no better place, right? So she's going to go and she's going to run. And it's funny because the actress who plays Mel does not like to run. She's like, Mel does the running. I don't like the running. She's not really a runner. I mean, I'm sure she does a little bit of running, but it's like not her favorite thing. So fortunately, they don't make Mel run too much. And so Mel is trying to explain it to Jack. She's like, all I know is that my body is telling me to stop. And you could tell he's hurt by that. And he's like, look, I know how hard this has been on you, and I don't want to make it any harder, but it's like, God, he finally got there with her. And now she's like taking it away, and that's hard. And he's like, but can't we talk? He's like, you're the one that told me to open up to you, and so don't push me away. And it's not that she's pushing him away. She's like, I'm not, but like, well, you're running away. Like, I mean, literally. And they both kind of like chuckle. And he goes, look, I get it. I get it. You're hurting. It's been hard. He's like, I'm hurting too. I mean, this is something they're dealing with together. And finally, I mean, I think when she went through this stuff with her husband Mark, I don't feel like he was always on this. I mean, they didn't show it, but you kind of got the feeling that they were never on the same page at the same time.
Yeah. Well, part of it too is I gather. So you remember the kind of family Mark grew up in,
Right.
okay? And they're not a very lovey-feely, cushy kind of
No,
family.
not at all.
So their thing is something tragic happens, suck it up, buttercup,
Right.
move
Deal
on.
with it, move on. Let's
Right,
figure out the next step.
right. And so as much as he tried to console her, he may not have been able to do it in the manner that was able to help her.
Right.
So now Jack is on the other spectrum of things.
He's remember that one scene where she was in bed and she was so depressed and he was like, I thought you were going to get up and out of bed today. Remember right after she had lost the baby and he came home from work and he was like, you got to get up, you got to get moving. And she's like, I just can't. I don't even, and he was trying to be there for her, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't the way that she needed him there. He was there, but it was like not enough, not the right way. Not saying that his way was wrong. It just wasn't maybe enough of what she needed. Whereas Jack is like, I am with you every step of the way, whatever you want to do, but I want to do it with you. If we decide this is what we want, let's decide together. Let's make sure. Let's talk about it. And, a guy who probably didn't talk much to anybody about anything, especially his feelings. Now all he wants to do is talk about his feelings. So it's kind of funny. Like the shoes on the other foot. I mean, he's just trying to be there for her and trying to make sure that she's okay. And she's like, I know. She's like, I know, but I just need to run to clear my head. And he's like, well, would you settle for a hike? And he's like, with me. And it's like honestly, I mean, I get why he's doing what he's doing and I get where he's coming from, but I almost feel like she's telling him what she needs, and he wasn't
Mhm.
listening. Like, I feel
Right.
like he needed to let her go run and then give her a minute to, like, maybe process the thoughts that are going on in her head, and then
Right.
maybe sit down and talk or walk or have a hike or whatever. I almost feel like and this is him just kind of going through the motions, trying to figure out what's the best way, being new at all this emotion stuff. I feel like if he would have had more experience with all of this kind of stuff, he might have given her a little more time to process her feelings before talking to her about it. But he's new at this. They're both figuring it out. They're both having a lot of feelings about it. And now, I mean, he's been in therapy. He talks to everybody. He talks to her about now he just wants to talk about everything all the time. So he tries to, like, okay, I get that you need to be outside and you need to run, but can you do a hike with me?
Mhm.
And reluctantly, she says okay. She gets that she's not in this by herself. And I think if it were Mark, she would have said, no, I need to run. But because it's Jack and she knows that he's 100% there for her, then she's going to try. She's going to let him in and try. I mean, I guess we'll see. So now we're at Hope and Doc's. And Hope is making scones. She's like, I can't believe I
Mhm.
baked scones for this woman. And Doc is like, Hope, this is going to be difficult enough without you stirring the pot. And she's like, I can't help it. The closer we get to Rose's arrival, remember, Doc's baby mama is coming to town, which is Denny's grandmother. She's like, the more my blood boils. And her big thing is, how could you fake your death, basically, have a baby, and not tell the baby's father that he existed? Like, how could you do that? So she's just
Yeah.
pissed at this woman for leaving Doc out of this guy's life. And then the poor man died a month before, so he never even got
Right.
to know he was alive, never got to meet him. It's so sad, that he never knew he had a son until after his son was gone. And that's heartbreaking. So Doc's making some tea, and and Hope is just pissed. She's like, 50 years. 50 years she lied to you and kept you from your son. She's like, I intend to talk to her about that. And she's like, just don't feel like you have to forgive her that easily. I sure as heck wouldn't, because Hope.
Hmm.
Girlfriend can hold a grudge. She is hot under the collar.
Oh,
She is
yeah.
hot
Well,
under the collar.
Hope doesn't mince words, right?
No, she will not hold back for sure.
There are a few very saucy women in this town, and Hope is one of them.
Yes, she is. She does not hold back. And Doc is like, don't worry, I know exactly what I want to say to her. So he's probably thought about this ever since he found out from Denny. And he's probably been going over in his head, like, how is he going to deal with this situation? And Hope is like, and I know exactly which scones I want to serve her. And Doc's looking at her and goes, he goes, what? He goes, I didn't poison them, if that's what you're asking. She goes, but a few of them are a little burnt. I would prefer to save the nice ones for you. He goes, please, please, Hope, just be on your best behavior. It means a lot to Denny, and I just want to present a cordial front. He goes, it's like I always say, Vernon, if you don't have anything nice to say about someone, say it behind their back. Which I love. They're so funny. So they hear Denny, and he's like, we're here. And oh my God, they kind of look at each other like, take a deep breath, put your fake face on, put your fake smile on. And in she walks. Oh my. She's looking around the house,
Mhm.
and then Doc and Hope walk through the door. And she has this very, like, uncomfortable smile, and he has an uncomfortable smile, and she's like, Vernon. And he's like, hello, Rose. Shakes her hand. It's been a while. He's like, 50 years, as Hope says from behind him. But who's counting? She goes, Hope McCrae, town mayor, Vernon's wife. Boy, she did not hold back for a second.
Oh
Right out of the
no.
gate. Right out of the gate.
Well, the thing about it is when they say about let's get to the point.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Hope has no
that
problem.
no sense about small talk.
Yeah, we're not beating
there's
around
no
the bush.
small.
No.
We're not beating around the bush. We're going to get to the point, and we're going to get to the point now.
Right away.
So, yeah.
Oh, my. She's like, oh, not always in that order. And so they've got like a united front. She's got her arm through his arm. And so we've got a lovely scenery shot. It's like straight overhead the Virgin River. So now we're at Preacher's house. And he's got a really nice, It almost looks unfinished, but I think it is finished. It's just the style of like a wood patio in the back. It's really nice. He's got, I would say, he's got the nicest house of anybody. I mean, Hope's house is nice, but it's sort of like old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
But Preacher's got like the nicest place.
Well, his is more modern.
Yeah.
Okay. While Hope's is more,
She's been there a long time.
Right, exactly. So it's sort of like country chic,
Right. Shabby chic or something. Yeah.
shabby chic sort of thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Hope's kitchen versus Preacher's kitchen,
totally different.
You can see
his is like a chef's kitchen, though. I mean, it looks like somebody who cooks.
Exactly.
He wants the space. He wants the modern appliances. He's got it all.
Yeah, he wants to look outside and see the great outdoors while he's cooking up his meal.
Yeah.
You know, he is taking in the atmosphere,
Absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen.
So he's bringing coffee out to this like little deck that he has, bringing it out to Kaya, and he's like, I appreciate you opening up to me last night as they enjoy some coffee. And he's like, I know that you said it was new terrain for you. She goes, thanks for making it easy for me. He goes, well, I am enjoying getting to know you more. And he goes, so what's on the plan for today? And she goes, oh, I got a wild day planned. I get to pick up Jay's prescriptions, his protein shakes, and I'm basically his nursemaid until I ship out and he goes home to Colorado. And Preacher's like, so will you go back after fire season? Because that's where they're from, Colorado. She goes, yeah, I mean, I guess I have to deal with the house and the divorce, and it's a lot. He goes, yeah, that is a lot. He goes, I don't envy you. She goes, hey, that is a problem for future Kaya. Present Kaya is just thinking about trying your just like Mama made it menu tonight. And he's like, wait, you're coming? She goes, oh, you bet I am. He goes, and after that perfect panettone, I'm expecting the best meal I have ever had. So
this man is
no pressure.
This woman, I don't know what
Usually you get to a man through his stomach. Well, he is getting to this woman through her stomach, but she is not your average woman. So
that's true.
She's different from all the women that he's dated so far that we've seen.
God.
So we are at the clinic, and Muriel is putting out, she always brings flowers. She brings flowers and coffee. It's like she's just making the scenery, the atmosphere, the everything at the clinic. She tries to handle all the business and take care of all the little things for them to make their day easier. She has been a really, really wonderful addition to the clinic. I mean, I know she's only there part-time, but it's the little things. It's the stuff that Mel was doing that she doesn't have time to do. She actually has to be a nurse. And now this frees her up, as well as Cameron and Doc, to do the things that need to be done and all that little stuff that they just need. And she's happy to do it. She is thrilled to have something to do, to feel meaningful, to feel useful. So it's been really good for her too. And in walks Cameron. And he's like, hey. And she's like, hi. He goes, oh, you left the house early this morning. She's like, yeah. Just wanted to make sure, everything was ready for you. And he's like, Doc has some family matters to attend to. And he goes, so your schedule's quite full today. He's like, so it's just you and me today? She goes, yep, just the two of us. And they're very close, and they're very intense, some intense staring. And then all of a sudden we hear coughing, and she goes, and a room full of patients. So we should probably, it's like awkward. He goes, yeah, we should. She's like, coffee's ready, and I'll go pull the files. He goes, Muriel. And she doesn't even turn around. She's like, don't say another word. And then she turns around. She goes, but hey, the good news is that Liddy said I can move in with her. And we all know she doesn't blow dry her hair. So, and he goes, you don't need to move out. And she's like, we spend most of our days together. We really do not need the added temptation at night. Now, do we? And he kind of slowly nods. And he's like, he's thinking about that. Not really sure what to do. So now we're seeing some beautiful scenery shots, and Mel and Jack are hiking themselves through the woods. And she's like, being out here always clears my head. And he's like, Denny called it Shinrin Yoku. It's like therapy in nature. As they're walking, he says, it's still stunning, huh? Even after everything it's been through? And she kind of chuckles And she's like, huh, subtle. Like, you're still stunning after everything you've been through. He's just laughing. He goes, what? I'm just saying, the forest is resilient. She goes, uh-huh, yeah, so are you. He goes, let's go this way. I want to show you something. And so he's leading her, and she goes, and he's like, there's a vista up here. It's so spectacular, and there's a sign for Angel's Peak. He goes, it can literally shift your perspective. He says, it can literally shift your perspective. It might even change your mood. And she's like, Jack, I don't think a vista is going to change how I feel. And he's like, well, how do you feel? I mean, I know you want to stop trying, but I'm not really sure all your feelings around it. And she's like,
All of
how
a
do you...
sudden, he's a therapist.
Well, he's been in therapy now. He has a way to help her look at things differently than maybe how she's looking. And that's really all it is like sharing your perspective. And obviously they have a different perspective, and they need to find a way to get that out so that they can talk about it.
Mm.
And so he's like, how do you feel? Seriously. I mean, she's like, I've wanted this my entire life. You can tell she's frustrated. She goes, and now on top of all that weight, I feel like I'm letting you down. She goes, I feel absolutely awful. And he's like, you're not letting me down. And she goes, I am letting you down. I know how much you want to be a father. He goes, well, that's because of you. He's like, I mean, this was your dream. It's what you wanted, which doesn't make her feel any better, Jack. I mean, you might have worded that a little differently or held off, but we're being honest here. So he goes, and it was a beautiful dream, and now it's become mine too. She's just frustrated. She's like, I know. I just can't try to force it anymore. And I think this is where he finally really, really gets where she's at. Because, I mean, trying to understand what she's been through is, he's never going to really get it, but she's going to do her very best to, like, help him understand, even if it's, I mean, obviously he can't know 100%, but he can try.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, not everybody gets their miracle baby. She goes, I've tried, and all I have to show for it is a mountain of grief. And he's like, I know. I'm not disregarding that. Not for a second. And I think in her mind, there's only one solution: having a baby naturally. And that's, she's always wanted to have a baby. And that's been like one tunnel vision focus. She tried, getting pregnant naturally. She tried IVF, all of that. That's been her main focus. She's never thought about something different. So having a different perspective maybe is what she needed. And he's like, look, I never want you to suffer because of something that I want. He's like, there's other ways of having a family. Now, true, there are, but this is where he gets it, because, yeah, she's thought of that too. Even though her tunnel vision has been like having a baby naturally, of course, I've been through IVF. When you are trying and trying and trying, of course, your mind goes, well, there are other options, but do you really want to do that? Because there's a lot that goes with all of those decisions, and a lot of emotion that goes into all of that. And she's like, I know that this sounds selfish. She says, and I hate myself for even saying it out loud. She goes, but I just always wanted to have a child that was my own. And he's like shaking his head. She goes, I wanted to look down at my baby's eyes and look down at my baby and see my mother's hazel eyes or hear my father's laugh. He's like, that's not selfish. He goes, I think it's beautiful. I mean, you want a connection to the family you lost. I get that. He goes, but what about surrogacy, which technically, biologically would be theirs? And she's like, look, she goes, yeah, I've considered it, but it's physically and emotionally draining. She goes, and I just can't. I can't put my body through that again. I can't put my heart through that again. I had so much faith with this pregnancy. I can't go through any more loss. I mean, she looks like she's ready to cry. I mean, clearly I'm meant to be on a different path, and I'm trying finally to embrace that. And he's kind of like, like he doesn't know what to say. So now we're back at Hope and Doc's, and we're all sitting together with Rose and Denny. We're all just going to quietly drink our tea.
Mm-mm-mm.
And so Doc opens it up and he's like, "So, did you have a good flight? Like, what do you say to someone who kept your child away from you for 50 years?" He goes, "She's like, "Yes, thank you." He goes, "Denny tells me you're a book publisher," Hope asks her. And he goes, "That's right. I've been in business for almost 30 years now." She's like, "Wow, must be some good fodder for making up stories." And of course, Doc jumps right in and goes, "Oh, so how about all that rain? Seattle got more than its fair share."
Now what how, now why would he do that? I
He's,
don't understand that.
well, because she's basically giving the lady crap for what she did and trying to use her job against her. And Doc is trying to make it nice and smooth.
Um,
So, I mean, he wants a decent conversation. He doesn't want to turn into a fight and have her leave. I'm sure he has questions he wants to ask. And if she gets all pissed and leaves, then he's not going to get to ask anything. And plus, they're trying to make this a cordial conversation for Denny. So everybody just needs to be on their best behavior, Hope. Because Hope is going to throw a dig in everywhere she can.
mm,
Yeah, Rose looks very uncomfortable. He goes, "Yeah, we could have used some rain, during the wildfires." And he was, "Oh, so devastating." She was like, "Oh, I was so worried. I'm just so happy that you made it through. And, we're all here now." And he's like, it means so much to me to have my family together. Like, that's why they're there, is because Denny asked for it. So they're all just going to have to suck it up. And he's like, "I can't wait for you to meet Lizzie." And she's like, "Oh, me too." He goes, "That's all he ever talks about these days. Young love." And Doc's like, "Oh, yes, it's a powerful thing." She's like, "Yes, it is." And Hope is like, "Well, you two clearly have some things to talk about." So she goes, "We'll leave you to it." And she goes to give Doc a kiss, and she whispers in his ear, "Give her hell." And so she excuses herself and Denny so that the two of them can talk. And he's, "Okay, we'll see you two for lunch." And so they go into the kitchen to leave the Doc and Rose to sit there and chat. So now we're on the baseball field. Now, remember that Bree and Mike are friends, and she has a company softball game, and she found out that he plays softball, and she was like, "We need some help, and I need you to be on our team because apparently somebody broke their leg or something and they can't play." So she enlists Mike to be on her team. So they're over there trying to play. Mike shows up, and she wasn't sure he was going to make it. And he's like, "Hey, put me in, coach." So she's like, "Oh, yes, you are in." She says, "I played varsity baseball talk wasn't bullshit." He's like, "No." He goes, "Because this is a grudge match." And he's like, "Grudge match?" He goes, "Yeah. What's so bad about the litigators?" Oh, that's a cute name because they're lawyers. Litigators. She goes, "They poach clients and steal bases." So, yeah. So Mike is like, "Okay, I won't let you down." And she goes, "Well, I'm counting on that." And he's like, "Thanks for asking me to sub today." And she goes, "Well, I didn't do it for you." She goes, "I did it to win." All right. So we're going to see what kind of a player he is. So we've got a scenery shot. We've got a helicopter flying over. And Brady is working in one of the trailers on the receipts. Remember, Melissa put him in charge, and he is supposed to cook the books. And I guess, is that the right way to say it?
yep,
Cook the
say that.
books. Because he's got to launder money through the camping business to make it look like they're filtering more money through the business than they are, so that she can hide all this drug money that she's getting. And he's got
Yeah,
to do that and keep Jack away from it, or have two sets of books so Jack doesn't make a stink about it. And that way, Melissa will be happy. They can hopefully catch her and they can deal with all that. So he apparently knows how to do this somehow. And as he's working on it, Lark shows up. And she knocks
huh,
on the door and he puts everything away, closes the laptop. And she goes, "Hey, I hope I'm not like interrupting." He goes, "Oh, not at all. What's up?" And she's like, "Hazel got a new game and at the food and clothing drive. And, we were wondering if you're not busy later, if maybe you'd like to join us for burgers and a board game." And he was like, "Sure, yeah. I'll stop by after work. Need me to bring anything?" And she goes, "Nope, just your game face." He goes, "We take board games very seriously." So she's like, "Okay, I'll see you later." So it looks like he's got a little bit of interest in someone new. I don't know how I feel about her yet. Not sure. Not sure. So he goes back, opens up the laptop, and back to trying to figure out how to cook the books. And he's adding numbers. It's like retrofitting an Airstream. And he's definitely looking at some names of some businesses that maybe he's going to check out a little later. I mean, he's not just doing the job, he's trying to gather information because remember, he's working with Mike. So him and Mike, he's got to bring Mike something to start researching. Maybe they can figure multiple ways to get Melissa. So he's just going to do his job like he's told and just keep gathering information. Now we're back, scenery shots, back at Doc and Hope's. And this is where the conversation's going to get very interesting. So Doc asks Rose, he goes, I've been going over and over in my head what I wanted to say to you. And now that you're here, I can't find the words. And she's like, it's okay, Vernon. Go ahead. Just ask the question. And he's like, okay. He goes, how could you not have told me that we had a son? And she's like, because you told me that you did not want to be a father. And he's like, just because I said I didn't want to be a father back then doesn't mean that I wouldn't have taken responsibility for our child. I know you would have, she said, but I cared for you too much to let you. And I didn't want you to give up on your dreams for him or for me. And he goes, but it wasn't your place to make that decision. He goes, and at the time, the dream was us being together. She goes, no, it wasn't. She goes, I know you loved me, but you wanted to follow your father's footsteps, to be a great doctor. You made it very clear that that was what was the most important thing to you. And he goes, no, you were the most important thing to me. And you vanished. You left without a word, Rose, without so much as a goodbye. That letter I sent you, I was trying. She was telling me that you were in love with someone else. Was it even true? And she looks a little sad, like she didn't even answer. I mean, he looks a little frustrated. He's standing up and he's like, ugh. He's like, I did love you, Rose. But it was very clear to me now that you did not love me. He goes, or you didn't know how to love me. Otherwise, you would have told me the truth. He goes, Vernon, I just wish you could see it. I did what I did because I loved you. He's like, yeah? And he walks out. Leaves her sitting there by herself.
Well, she knows he would be upset. It's going to take him some time to digest what she tells him.
Oh, yeah. So in the meantime, Hope decided to go over to Jack's bar, and she's hanging out with Liddy and Joellen, and she, of course, everybody knows Rose is in town, and she was like, I don't trust that woman as far as I can throw her. And she's like, can you imagine keeping a secret like that? They have all these big binders. And she goes, ugh, what is Doc going to do about it? He goes, I've always wondered what my life might be if Nick and I were able to have children. That's what Joellen says. She goes, but actually discover you have a child that no one ever told you about? She goes, it's unimaginable. She goes, I don't see a way past it. And Liddy's like, well, there has to be for Denny's sake. And Joellen's like, I've tried for years to get closer to Nick's sister, Melissa. Mm-hmm. She goes, but if there's one thing I've learned about family, you don't have to like them to live with them.
Amen, sister.
And Liddy's like, well, at least Rose lives in Seattle, so she's not going to be like dropping in all the time. He goes, well, there's that, and now on to more important matters, because Hope's going to stay focused on task at hand. She goes, are we having a petting zoo at the carnival or not? And Joellen's like, well, I would like that, but isn't it too messy? He goes, do you think they'll ever be able to get past everything? Because Lizzie and Denny are walking in, and that's what Lizzie asked Denny. She's wondering if Doc and Rose are going to be able to work through this to have, I don't know, some kind of cordial relationship in the future for Denny's sake. He's like, I mean, it was a little awkward at first, but that's understandable, right? And Lizzie's like, totally understandable. And he's like, well, they both told me that they want to make peace. What they say they do and what they don't. What they actually do are two different things. He goes, so deep down, I know that they'll find a way. She's like, I love how optimistic you are. He goes, well, family means a lot to me. He goes, after my mom died, Grandma Rose and Dad tried to immerse me in my culture the best they could, put me in Japanese school so that I could feel connected. And she goes, that's so cool that they did that. And he's like, yeah.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me what happened to Denny's mother again?
I believe she died of Huntington's disease early.
Ah, okay.
I think and he genetically um, was prone to it, and that's when he found out.
Okay.
So, so Lizzie's like, that's so cool that they did that for you, like to help him understand his culture, because his mom obviously was Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and then when my dad passed away unexpectedly, he goes, despite her own reservations, Grandma told me about Grandpa Doc. So that if anything were to ever happen to her, I wouldn't be alone. Because that's basically the only family that he has left. Because he has no siblings and there
That's
isn't
true.
anybody else. So, without Doc and his grandmother, he's got nobody. And Lizzie's like, well, they both obviously care about you so much. And he's like, which
You
is
do.
why I have to stay positive, because otherwise I have to admit that my last two living relatives might never be in the same room together ever again. And I just can't go there. She's like, we will not go there. So we're back on the
uh,
baseball field, and the umpire is like, let's play ball. Okay, so we're back on the baseball field. Got people cheering, and the game is going. Mike is up to bat, and he hits the ball, and everybody's cheering. And that's Bree's turn. They're like, come on, Bree, let's go. And she hits the ball too. And we're filling some bases. All right, looks like they're doing pretty darn good. They're both safe. They
I have
just
no idea what you're talking about, but I'm gonna
It's
let you go with
baseball.
it.
I know you don't play baseball, but they're doing good. They're doing pretty good.
I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
Yes. So she's like, "Nice one, Venezuela. Looking good." So they're racking up the points. They're hitting the ball where they're supposed to. They're having a good time. All right, Mike. Mike is up to bat again. Like, wish me luck. And he goes, okay, Bree. One of the guys from the office is like, what's the deal with you and the guy with the arm? And she's like, or should I say arms? And she's like, what? Nothing. And they're like, yeah, cool. Then if you're not gonna play ball with him, I will, because one of the girls from the office is like, hey, I'm interested if you're not interested. She's like, okay. And he hits the ball and runs the bases. He does really well. He clearly played baseball before. Now, at the same time that all that's going on, Muriel's trying to get some files put away, and Cameron opens the door and walks in on her, and she's like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize. She's like, no. No, I was just doing the billing, and I dropped my pen, and he's like, okay, good. She was bent over. He was looking at her ass, basically. She's like, so what do you need? And he's like, I was just looking for Mrs. Watson's prescription history. She's like, she had mentioned that her blood pressure medication wasn't working, and so she goes, I wanted to see if there had been anything else that had been prescribed. And he goes, oh, that was fast. Thank you. And she goes, well, I'm very good at my job. He goes, yes, you are, and I respect what you do. She goes, and I respect what you do, too, and I want Doc to respect it, too. He was like, okay, so do I. He goes, but honestly, I mean, she's like, this is a small town, and I mean, I think it was kind of silly to think that a workplace personal connection would never occur. He's like, I mean, yeah, like, I'm never anywhere but my workplace except for like home. He's like, I mean, that's true. He goes, I'm never anywhere but my workplace except for when I'm in town and I see other people who are also patients at my workplace. She's like, and it would be better to date a coworker than a patient. He's like, right?
Okay.
He's like, right? And he goes, so your options are limited, and then you factor in the compatibility, and it makes it nearly impossible. And she's like, not that I'm saying we're compatible. He's like, oh yeah, I mean, like, this is very unexpected and not really what I was looking for. And she's like, I know. So I guess we can just forget about it. And he was like, I guess so. And she's like, okay. And then they go to try to leave, and they kind of run into each other. They're kind of just, it's like awkward teenagers. They're just acting like awkward teenagers right now. It's kind of funny. Now they're going to try to avoid each other, probably. So
this is the second time he had an awkward moment with a woman in the office. First, it was Mel, and now
I
it's her.
know. Like, he can't.
Mm.
Okay, so we're in Preacher's kitchen at the bar. And Hannah's there helping. And she grabs this piece of paper and it's like all the different meals that he's going to make. And he goes, "Okay, chef, what's next?" And he's like, "This is just a little context in case people have questions." And he goes, "You can tell them that I created this menu to honor my incredible mother, who I don't see nearly as much as I'd like. And I wanted to make kind of a mother-son fusion." She's like, "I don't think that sounds how you think it sounds." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I should probably write up a script or something." She's like, "Yeah, probably." And so she looks at a picture of him. It looks like when he was a teenager. And he goes, "Oh, so is there a fancy food critic coming tonight I don't know about?" He's like, "No critic, it's Kaya." And she's like, "Oh." I love Hannah. She's so funny. He goes, "You want to impress her?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." He goes, "I've seen the way she looks at you." He goes, "Nothing you can do in this kitchen is going to change that for the better." He goes, "Yeah, try this." So she tastes what he made. And she's like, "Okay, I stand corrected. That could change things for the better." So they're high fiving. They're so cute. And she is like going back for more. She's like, "Oh my God, that's so good." Funny. So Jack and Mel still hiking, still talking. And Jack's like, "So this path that you're meant to be on, I mean, what does it look like?" She goes, "I just want to make sure that we're on it together." She goes, "Of course we are." She goes, I just don't know if that includes us becoming parents. You know, I've had 4 miscarriages and a stillbirth. So that's where it's clear. Because before she just said multiple, but we never
Yeah,
knew how many. So now
right.
we know that she's lost 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
One of them all the way to term and 4 miscarriages. That's a lot. That is a
It is.
lot for one person to deal with. Maybe until now, he didn't realize that it was that. I mean, not saying that 1 or 2 or 3 losing that many kids is nothing because it's a lot too, but 5? God, that's
Mm.
heartbreaking.
It puts your
And
body through a lot too.
yeah, and every time your body thinks it's going to do something and then it doesn't. That's a lot. And all the medication and all the doctor's visits and all the prep that has to go in. It's a lot. It's a lot. She said, "I had to bring a child into the world who didn't even stand a chance." He's like, "I know." And then she gets pissed at him. Like she doesn't mean to, but it's like you don't. You don't know. He goes, "You could never truly know what it feels like." And he regrets saying that the second that syllable leaves his mouth and leaves his lips, he understands that he should not have said that. And she's like,
Well, it's a very odd place for a man
yeah,
to be honest, you know,
yeah.
because as much as a husband or a partner um,
They don't
wants to
know.
be there, they
They
don't know.
try to
You
know.
know, exactly,
Yeah,
because it's not their body that's gone through a
right.
traumatic
It's not
experience.
and everybody has different feelings. They could have the same exact feeling, but it doesn't feel the same.
Right. So
It's,
it's hard, and I feel bad for Jack too because he's trying to find the right words to comfort her, but unfortunately, it's not helping.
and the thing is, even if he said the right words, it may not be the right words because nothing is going to be right because there's no right way to deal with this. And
Mm.
anything he says, yeah, it's nice and he's there and he's supportive and he's helpful and he care and all of that is true, but it's like part of her kind of has to do this herself. And yes, with the support of him, but she has to process this. She has to get to a certain place and together they'll figure it out, but part of this has to be her dealing with it, part of it has to be him dealing with it, and then the rest they have to deal with together. It's a lot. And she's like, "You don't know. You could never truly know what it feels like." And she snaps at him. And he feels bad. I mean, he's like his shoulders are down, his head is down, and she's like, "I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pull the 'I'm a woman and you don't get it' card." But she did, and she should because it's true. She goes, "Because I know that you felt this loss with me." As they keep walking, he goes, "Yeah, I did. I do. And not like you. I completely understand that." She's like, I felt myself holding them, like each time, each one. I felt them here with me. They were so close. He says, I still want you to have that. She goes, I know, me too. But he goes, life just isn't working out like that. She goes, so I'm going to give in to fate. Remember how fate is always a big thing with them? Is it
Yep.
fate? Is it serendipity? Is it coincidence from their first date? It's like, I don't know. And she's like, you were right this morning. I was running. She goes, and when I left LA, I was running. She goes, but you know what? If I hadn't been, I never would have run here. He goes, I believe that too. She goes, and that's just what I'm trying to do now, trying to run toward what's next. She goes, so can you just show me the damn vista? And he's looking around and he's looking left. And she goes, because I really don't want to talk about this anymore. And he's looking around and he looks a little confused. He's, yeah, I'm not so sure I can do that. And she's like, why? And he goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're lost. And she's like, of course we are. Of course. Oh boy. He's like, great. So we're back at the Jack's bar, and the ladies are still trying to figure out what's going to go on with the Labor Day Carnival. And he's like, Hope is like, so Ferris wheel or tilt-a-whirl? And Joellen's like, oh, I vote tilt-a-whirl. Says here it's triple the price. Ferris wheel it is. Easy. He goes, oh, well, that's her. And they see Rose walk in. And he goes, oh, she's very attractive. Vernon always had good taste. It's like, oh, everyone is on their best behavior, please. So Rose walks up and she goes, ladies. She goes, Hope. He goes, where's Vernon? I thought we were all meeting here. She goes, unfortunately, our conversation took a turn, so he won't be joining us. So I see. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going home to check on my husband. Denny and Lizzie are over there. And Hope leaves and motions Rose over to Denny. And Denny's like, hi. He's like, I found the place okay. And Rose is like, hello. And they introduce themselves. She's like, I heard so much about you, Lizzie. So remember when, just a few short hours before, Brady was looking over the invoices, doing the cooking of the books, and he came across a business called Gerberville Auto Works, and he decided to take a ride out there. So he's checking out this place because he's going to figure out what's going on. So he looks at the invoice and he sees the name to confirm, and he goes inside. He looks around. He's trying to find an entrance, finds a back door. Door's open just a little bit, and so he's peeking around the corner. He's listening, and he sees a bunch of the people who are Melissa's employees all standing around. Now it's inside this warehouse. We've got Melissa there and her head guy and two other guys. And it looks like they are taking stuff out of a briefcase and they're putting it inside some stuff. It's like, put it over there, and after that, that goes there. And they're giving a lot of directions. And Melissa says, we don't have to store our whole stash in one trailer, because remember, they're using the Airstreams to move product or to hide product or something. So Brady sneaks in, and he's trying not to be seen, and he's trying to listen so he can get some more information. And the guy goes, how many trailers are you thinking? And Melissa's like, as many as it takes. So he's hiding, and he gets his phone out and he starts recording. And the guy's like, well, man, I've got 5. He goes, oh, that's good, Jimmy. And one more. And so he's trying to record, and he goes, that one's all packed up and ready. Melissa's like, fantastic. Let's move on. He goes, Jack will be thrilled to be helping us out, because as long as Jack's happy, they think everything is fine, that Jack's going to keep participating as long as he thinks everything is going well. And so
Now, that guy, there's a guy that looks over in the corner
yes, he does.
as this conversation is happening.
Yep.
And so,
yeah, I know. Now, what they're doing is they're hiding the drugs in the camper and in the Airstreams, and then they're putting them out on the site. And then remember, the people that have been that are homeless are staying in it. So that's very dangerous to have drugs inside of hidden in a camper. Like, what if a kid gets a hold of something? So this guy looks over there, but he doesn't see him. Fortunately, I mean, maybe he heard something and looked, but it didn't make an impression. The guy goes, that side's covered, and Brady's like, damn it, because he thinks he almost got caught. And he goes, okay, boys, let's pack this stuff and get out of here. So they're closing up the camper, and just as Brady gets out of there, he kind of makes a little bit of noise. The guy turns around and looks in that direction, but he doesn't see anything, so he kind of lets it go. So fortunately, he didn't get caught. So this is hysterical. So we're back in the forest, and Mel and Jack are lost. She's tired. She's done. She's sitting on a log because she's like, what, really? And he's like, okay, all we got to do is follow the sun. And he's looking for the sun. She's like, we just got to head south, southwest-ish. And she's like, what sun? It's overcast. We don't see the sun. He goes, I can. It's still in the sky. Come on. And he's like, I can see it. She goes, where is it? Hello. Oh, sun. And she's like yodeling. He goes, I can see the light through the clouds and the forest, through the trees. And he goes, Mel, please, come on. I'm trying to do what you asked. I'm trying to get us out of here, okay? I mean, she's so done. She's got her head down, her hands over her head. He goes, because clearly this was a stupid idea, and I'm sorry. And she just looks up at him, and she's like, he's frustrated. She's frustrated. And she's like, we just can't seem to catch a break. I mean, seriously, I don't understand. She's like, we're good people, right? Why does life keep knocking us down and kicking us before we can even get up? And now we're just lost in the woods. Now, at this point, when I first watched this, I have a feeling that she wasn't supposed to, they may have done this scene a couple times because she is doing her best to not break out in a full giggle. She is holding it back so hard. And you could tell that she's not supposed to break up laughing until maybe the end. But she is doing her very, very best to hold it in. And it's almost hysterical. She's like, we're lost in the woods. She goes, I mean, what else could possibly go wrong? As it starts to rain. And hard.
You never put that out in the universe because the universe will answer you back.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, are you kidding me? And then a big thunder and lightning, and they both gasp. She's like, oh, come on. And she gets up and screams into the sky. She goes, are you freaking kidding me?
In real life, it wouldn't be freaking, but
Right. But, they do have to watch their language a little bit.
Exactly.
And there's a song playing in the background called I Love the Rain the Most, which I think is always appropriate how they have the music. And he just looks up in the sky laughing. And she looks up in the sky and she's just laughing. And then they both start cracking up because it's hysterically laughing. And he walks over to her and he goes, well, at least we haven't lost our sense of humor. He grabs her face and he kisses her a lot. And it's thundering and it's lightning. And he's like, now look, I know you feel lost right now. He goes, but I promise we're going to find our way out of the woods together. She goes, the literal ones or the metaphorical ones? And he's like, both. And he points and there's a sign and they see the sign. And she's like, oh, thank God. And then they start heading out. Now, at the same time, the baseball game is going on. And, of course, it's the same rainstorm. And as they start, all the players, because obviously when there's thunder and lightning, the last place you want to be is in a big open field so you don't get struck by lightning. So everybody's coming off the field. And Bree's like, damn, that game was ours. And Mike is like, but we're down by 5. She goes, yeah, well, I work best under pressure. And they're all drenched. Everybody's drenched. And they kind of get into the dugout. And she goes, well, I guess thanks for coming anyway. He's like, yeah, my pleasure. He's like, I had fun. She goes, yeah, not as much fun as my coworkers. Think they're your biggest fans. And they're just kind of standing there staring at each other. He goes, well, what about you? And she goes, I mean, you're all right for a rookie. And he's like, oh, for a rookie? And she goes, uh-huh. And he gets closer and closer. And then he just kisses her because he can't help it. Now I wonder what the that chick who was thinking he was hot is like, oh man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, they just laugh at each other. He goes, oh, here. And he grabs a jacket, puts it around. He goes, I don't want you to catch a chill. He goes, let me walk you to your car. She's like, okay. And off they go. So Doc is by himself at home, kind of staring out, and he sees Hope come back in the rain. So she's soaked. And she's like, Vernon, are you all right? And he's like, yeah. And he gives her a hug. He's like, it's not too often you get a chance to look back at your life and realize that it turned out just like it should. She's like, what do you mean? He goes, well, there are two ways this could have played out. He's like, but only one way that led me to you. And I'm so grateful. Aw, kissy kiss. She goes, oh, Vernon. They're so cute. He's like, and he goes, I just don't know how I'll ever find a way to forgive Rose. He goes, well, she says, maybe you don't have to. And then so now we're at the clinic, and Muriel's like, your last patient just canceled because of the rain. So now it's Cameron and Muriel together. She goes, so you get to go home early. He's like, oh, are you, she's like, no. She goes, I packed everything up this morning and threw it in my car. So I'll just head straight to Liddy's. So Muriel's going to go stay at Liddy's. He goes, well, I mean, it was nice having you there, even if it was short-lived. She goes, and it was nice being there. She's like, Cameron. And they sit down together in the waiting room on one of the benches. She goes, I didn't mean what I said about us not being compatible. She goes, I'm just sad. I'm sad that we don't get to explore this unexpected connection. He goes, yeah, me too. It's been a long time since I felt anything remotely like this. She's like, I know. She goes, and I don't want to have to cut it short because of the whole Doc situation. I mean, we're like Romeo and Juliet, except with the same dad. Regardless, things did not work out for them. But I do think things could work out for us. She's like, do you really? And he's like, yeah, I do. She kind of shakes her head. She's like, okay. She goes, then let's find a way, as they hold hands. So I guess they're going to give it a whirl, but not live together, because living together and working together, probably too much. But maybe working together and dating might be enough. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see. So now we're back at Jack's bar, and Rose is sitting there with Lizzie and Denny. And she's telling Liz that she's very impressed to see a woman her age with such a prominent job. She goes, in municipal government. She goes, yeah, tell that to my mom. She's like, oh, with pleasure. She goes, so Denny, what, other than Lizzie, is keeping your interest here in Virgin River? Because she wants him to come back, because he's from Seattle, right?
Yeah.
And I think she misses him and wants him to come back. I know he was planning on traveling for a year and then going to school, but, he's been gone. And she's like, so, what else is keeping you? And he's like, getting to know my grandfather. And she goes, but you must have time for other things. He goes, well, a lot of hiking and rock climbing, some fly fishing. I might apprentice at an auto shop, but I'd say I'm living in the moment. She goes, and I understand why, but you do have such a long life ahead of you, Denny. She goes, with so much experience to offer. She goes, are you sure you want to forego going back to Stanford? And what about all your travel plans? And he's like, when I came back positive, my first thought is, well, will I get to graduate from college or climb Mount Kilimanjaro? It was, will I ever get to fall in love? And she's like, oh. And Denny's like, I was pretty sure the answer to that question was no until I met Lizzie. And then they hold hands. They're cute. He says, and there is nothing more important to me than being with her. He goes, yeah, I can see that. She's like, so how are things going with Grandpa? He asks. She goes, oh, not great, and I suppose that's to be expected. She's like, this is a very charged situation for everyone involved, and I don't fault Vernon for his reaction. I'm just so sorry that we couldn't resolve it for you. He goes, I know you tried. And Doc walks up. He goes, we both did. He goes, and even though we don't see things the same way, I am willing to put the past behind us. She goes, Vernon, you don't have to. He goes, well, Rose, always regret not having a chance to get to know Ryan. I will not let that tarnish the gift of the second chance that I have now with Denny. She's like, thank you, Vernon. And I want to say, she says that I'm really sorry. And he's like, I appreciate that, Rose. He goes, well, I hear there's a new menu to taste. So, Doc, you mind if we join you? And so they all squeeze in. So he goes to have Hope sit next to Rose, and she looks at him like, yeah, I don't think so. And she squeezes next to Denny and makes him sit next to Rose. Like, there is no way I'm sitting next to this baby mama chick. Like, not playing that game. That's funny. So he sits down, and Hope's kind of giving dirty looks, but fake smiles. We're going to make it through. So Mel and Jack finally make it to the vista. The rain has stopped, so it's actually beautiful now. And they stand up there looking at it, and they're like, oh, it's stunning, isn't it? And he's like, yeah, it is. And he's like, it wasn't just the view that I wanted to show you. He's like, there's something that I wanted to share with you, too. She's looking at him very concerned. He goes, look, I know I told you that when I came to Virgin River, I knew that I wanted to build the bar, and I built a life here. But that's not the whole story. It's very, moving. He's getting ready to tell her some hard truths. Things that, if it wasn't for therapy, I don't think he'd be sharing this stuff. Feels safe with her, so he's gonna tell her. He says, when I first moved here, I was lost. I was broken. She puts her hand on his shoulder. He goes, I've been repressing my brother's death, and then when Lonergan died, I just fell into this darkness. And she's rubbing his arm and shoulder. And she goes, and I couldn't get out. He goes, I tried. She's like, Jack. And he's like, I had no idea. But I made a decision to keep going. I know how hard it is. Believe me, I know. But Mel, we can keep going too. We can still have our dream, Mel. It might not look the way that we thought it would. It might not happen in the same time frame as we expected, but it can happen. And our children might not have your mother's eyes, but that does not mean that they can't have your compassion or her cool taste in music. She laughs. He goes, we can teach them that. He goes, if that's what you still want. And she looks at him and she's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, I still want it. So give each other a kiss. Now this scene right here is also used in a lot of promo stuff. They always do that kiss, they say something, and then they kiss again. They call it the double kiss. It's a very Mel and Jack thing. But it's a very poignant scene where they decide they're going to find a way. Find a way to have a family that's different than how they originally thought it was going to be. So Brady, he's done work now. Apparently he's clearly made it out of the warehouse where all the bad guys were and has joined Lark and Hazel for some board games and burgers. So Lark is like, as Hazel giggles, gotta love Pretty Pretty Princess. Apparently that's the board game they're playing. Brady's like, I'm into it. Right. And Hazel's like, this is for you, Brady. And he's got a crown and some earrings and now some necklaces. Oh. And apparently that's when you're playing, you earn these items. And Lark is like, I think that means you win. He looks so pretty.
He looks stunning.
And he's like, really? And she's like, mm-hmm. He goes, because normally people cheat so they can win. He goes, is that what's happening here? She's like, no. He goes, what? He goes, no.
Oh, yes.
She's like, can I draw now? And she gets up. She leaves to go inside to draw some pictures. I mean, in real life, the guy who plays Brady, Ben Hollingsworth, he's got, I think, 3 little kids. And his kids are pretty young. I think his oldest is like 7 or 8. So all his kids are younger than that kid. So, and he's got daughters. So this is probably not out of the realm of possibility on his life.
Probably true.
So once Hazel leaves, Lark is like, you can take that off now, you know. And he's like, what? This? No, I kind of like it.
Exactly. A good look on him.
He goes, my sisters used to dress me up like this all the time when I was a kid. Goodness. Sisters? He goes, that's why you're so good with Hazel. He goes, come to think of it, you're kind of good at everything. Oh, now she's fishing for compliments. There we go. Ugh, I don't know about her. Something about her bugs me, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it
Oh,
is. It's like, you're kind of good at everything. She's except being honest. And she's like, sounded pretty honest to me. And he goes, well, when I was growing up, I used to lie to keep my sister safe. And myself. I guess I just made a habit of it. She's like, well, there's nothing wrong with protecting the people you love. He's like, yeah. He's like, my ex didn't see it that way, though. Talking about Bree. He's like, well, maybe you
mhm,
should be with someone who appreciates you for who you are. Oh yeah, let's just weasel our way into Brady.
mhm,
Like I said, I don't trust her. Something about her bugs. And he's like, I still have some work to do. But thanks for this. It was wonderful. He goes, yeah, I should probably get Hazel to bed. He goes, yeah, it's okay. She goes, I've got this because he's going to help clean up. And she's like, nope, I've got it. She's like, thanks again. She's like, hey, Brady, don't doubt yourself. He's enjoying his time with Lark. And as he walks by, he sees the airstream that those people were putting things in. So he's going to go
mhm,
check it out. So now Mel and Jack, they're back at the cabin. Mel's sitting on the front porch, and she's finally finishing putting the bird on the little dress. And Jack comes out, and he's like, "Hey," and he's like, "Feeling better?" And she's like, "Yeah, thanks." He's got a box, gives her a kiss, and he's like, "If you're good, I'm going to take these extra blankets to the evacuees." And she's like, "Okay." He goes, "Then I was going to grab us some dinner from Preacher's new menu." And she goes, "Oh, yes, I would like one of everything, please." Because, it's got to be a good menu. And he goes, "Okay, as you wish." And so they play Songbird. But remember, that's her favorite song. It's the one that reminds her of her mother. And it's playing in the background. And just as Mel's sewing, she sees a little bird perch itself on the arm of the chair that's across from her. And there's two chairs sitting out front. And the bird's just sitting there. And she's looking at it, and she's smiling, and it's looking at her as the song plays. And then it flies away.
mhm,
Very poignant. Kind of like her
mhm.
mother. Her mother is sort of there for her.
Yeah, exactly.
A sign. So we're back at Jack's bar, and Preacher's making up his menu. And look who is sitting at the bar. It's Kaya. And he brings out a plate and he goes, so we have Jamaican jerk chicken and biscuit, blue crab mac and cheese, and my piece de resistance, smoked venison chili. He goes, I'm in a food coma just looking at it. He goes, oh, well, my mom always said anything worth cooking has got to be love at first bite. He goes, now, I call this one Total Smoke Show after someone I know. And she's looking at him. And then, of course, Hannah's looking at the two of them, rolling her eyes like, oh, good Lord, dude. You're laying it on a little thick. And he's like, and I hope that it's not too hot for you to handle. And he feeds her a bite, and she's like, mmm. She's like, wow. She looks at him. She goes, Preacher, you continue to amaze me. He goes, no, honestly, your mom would be so proud. So tell me a little more about this smoke show. And he just laughs at her and looks over at Hannah, and Hannah's like, ugh. He goes, I'll save that one for dessert. And then Hannah walks by, and they kind of high five each other or low five each other. She's like, yeah, good job. He goes, so can I get you a drink? Because I have a 21-year-old bottle of Fuentesqueta Reserva. He goes, I've been saving for a special occasion. She's like, mm-hmm. She goes, oh, that sounds pricey and delicious. Yes, please. He's like, okay. Then we see the
Oh,
husband coming in on his crutches. He goes, hey, I've been calling and you didn't answer. She's like, so leave a voicemail. He goes, we just got word that wildfires have broken out in Alaska. We ship out tomorrow. He goes, I thought you weren't fit for it. Not for the field, but I can still stand around and give orders. And they asked me to be incident commander, which means I need you to take over as team lead. And she's looking at him like, what? He goes, team lead? I thought you said I wasn't ready. He goes, I was wrong. I need someone out there I can trust, someone on my team. You still on my team?
Oh,
Now,
he's full of bull.
right? She's like, yeah. She gets up and she looks at Preacher. She goes, I hate to eat and run. And she holds it by sides of his shoulders. And she's like, I got to get packed if I'm going to leave tomorrow. She goes, can we finish this at yours later? And he goes, yeah, of course. And she leans over and she kisses him, grabs her bag, and she runs out. As Jay conveniently holds back for just a minute, looks at Preacher. Preacher looks at him. He goes, like I said, Kaya loves her job, and I'll always be a part of that. Smug bastard. And Preacher's
He's
like,
an ass.
yep. And Preacher's like, doesn't matter who she works with, only who she comes home to.
Yes,
And Jay
that's it.
chuckles. She didn't even get
Yep,
to eat her dinner. What a jerk.
I know. And he went through so much trouble for it.
I know. So we're back at Doc's house, and the crickets are chirping, and Rose is outside on the porch, and Denny comes out with a cup of tea. He goes, "Oh, thank you." He goes, it means so much to me that you and Grandpa could come to some kind of an understanding. He's like, it's just been so tough since Dad. She's like, yeah. He's like, so thank you. It's pretty great having my whole family together under one roof. She goes, well, I'm happy you're happy, Denny. She's like, the conversation I had with your grandfather reminded me of something, though, about the choices you make when you're young and how they can affect the rest of your life. And he's like, okay. Because I have to tell you, I think you're making a mistake staying in Virgin River. And he looks very concerned. Now we've got Jack, and Jack just dropped off blankets to the different evacuees at the glamping site. And as he's walking by, he sees one of the campers that's supposed to be empty, I'm assuming, but there's a whole bunch of lights inside. Of course, Jack is curious, so he puts the box down and he very quietly sneaks up on it, and he's going to be very quiet.
This don't look good.
He has a flashlight, slowly opens the door, and he looks inside, trying to be quiet, and he sees somebody fiddling around, and it's Brady. Puts the light right in his face, and he's looking at Brady.
Oh, good Lord.
And now he's like, Brady stands up and he goes, Jack. And he's like, Brady, what the hell are you doing? And he looks pissed. And that's it.
Now Brady's got to have to lie now somehow to get his way out of this one.
If he continues to lie, I mean, he can't. He's got the evidence, because if you looked past where he was fiddling around, you saw bags of drugs. There were bags of drugs there, and it's not gonna take Jack. It's not rocket science. He's gonna see that it's drugs, and he's gonna know that there's something going on. And Jack's gonna go right to, what are you into? He's gonna assume
Jack's gonna
that it's
feel.
bad.
Well, Jack's also gonna feel betrayed because he gave him another chance,
Right?
And he was hoping to trust him, and now he may have a situation where his trust has been,
And Brady's got two choices. He's either got to trust Jack and tell him the truth so that he can help him, or he's gonna have to lie and hope that his lie is good enough to keep Jack out of it, because this is not good. I mean, this is definitely not good.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. This is bad news. It's just it's not looking good.
Nope.
So, I don't know. I mean, I know Brady wanted to solve this as soon as possible, but it's coming to a head pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're gonna see how. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta hold on tight, folks. Hold on tight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bump.
See, this is where the episodes start getting the action, the adventure, the drugs, the gangs, the undercover, the criminal organization. That's where all this is happening now. This is the action-packed part of the season. Like, we didn't have enough with the fires, and now we have this. So,
yep, we'll see how it goes then, folks.
Oh, well.
Till next time, folks.
All right. Well, thank you again. Tune in next time for the next
Yes.
episode as we continue. All right. Well, thank you, Gigi, once again.
Thank you, Tracy. Au
All right.
revoir, everyone.
All right. Have a great day. Till next time. Bye bye.